What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. We got another great show lined up for you today. Got a great new guest for you today. I'm actually just trying to update my Twitch title because apparently they didn't like the title I had. Apparently
What?
they didn't like
Oh, they didn't like you.
they didn't like me
Wait,
calling the
what is
Trump
the name of this
administration
one?
morons, education, and
There's nothing offensive in that.
no. I mean, I think it's actually factual. You would think, but whatever. Hey,
I mean, you could have made it way more offensive.
I could. I usually do, actually. I'm surprised they had a problem with this. But give me 1 second here, guys. And tonight we have a great show lined up. Like I said, we have a new guest who's never done a podcast before. She has been telling me she's very excited. Hopefully we can live up to all of her expectations. Found her on TikTok. Loved her content and just loved her vibe. So I asked her to come on the show, and she said yes. So that's fantastic. So what we're going to talk about tonight, because of our guest and my personal experiences as well, we're going to talk about education in America, what it's like raising a child with a disability in America. Most of you guys know that my daughter was born deaf. I raised my kids by myself with the help of my mother from the ages of 8 and 10 years old. And I know what it's like to struggle as a parent in America and, not know how you're going to feed your kids and where they, are they going to have benefits next month, and then having to constantly try and make sure they have health insurance and all. It's extremely stressful in America, especially these days now that they want to continue to take stuff away. They don't want to give us more benefits. They want to take benefits away. They want to take away Medicaid. They want to take away food stamps. Even now, I have a video that we're going to show you today where they want to take any sugary drinks or any candy or anything they pretty much deem unhealthy off of food stamps. So they don't want you to use taxpayer money, they say, to buy any sugary drinks,
Now,
even though
in theory, that sounds reasonable until you actually put some effort into your shopping and look at things and realize that every single thing that has like 40 grams of sugar in it is cheaper than water. Actual food is more expensive than garbage food. So if they're going to say you can't buy garbage food, but they're not going to do anything to even out the prices of real good wholesome food, see how it works? It's called natural selection for poor people, and all the rich people get to live with all the benefits of good healthy food, medicine, medical care, dental care, eye care. Wow.
Yeah, apparently food is not seen as a basic human right in the United States.
It's funny you say that because I come across this. It's not a meme, it's a fact. I see it once in a while on social media where I forget when it was. It was a few years ago. There was a UN vote on making food a basic human right. Guess who said no? Just guess.
We did.
Guess who else? Just guess. Come on. I'll wait. I was going to say it rhymes with Schmizreal.
Was it Israel? Is it really?
Yes, it was.
That's crazy. Anyway. That's crazy. I'm not surprised. I am not at all surprised. But anyway, like I said, we do have a guest. Let me go ahead and bring her on, and we can start talking about today's topics. So welcome to the show for the first time, Casey Maddox. Casey, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
I am doing amazing. This is so freaking awesome. Oh my god. Okay, so
tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a mother. I have 5 kids, 4 boys, 1 girl. 2 of them are special needs. I run my own cleaning business, and I'm a human rights and mental health activist. And nice. I love exposing the men with fragile masculinity and, just anybody who needs to be exposed.
To be fair, they do a good job of exposing themselves.
They do.
Yeah, sometimes quite
with
literally.
All double entendre. all the whole way.
My septum piercing alone is just rage bait for them.
What is that? What is that? My wife has a septum piercing. It's my favorite of her piercings. I think she was born to have a septum piercing. And I got to tell you, the look she gets, men are afraid of women that are like, I could do things to my body and you don't have a say in it. That's
right.
What it is.
It intimidates them.
Right. It is like God forbid a woman have any body modifications, self-expression. They just want her sitting pretty and cooking something in the kitchen.
We like them pure and fertile. Yay.
Right.
And young for some of these, apparently. But
I
yeah,
uh,
so
I used to
go
live
ahead.
in Tennessee, and
Oh, I've been to Tennessee's beautiful.
it's beautiful, but the people, it's
Not so beautiful.
in between the racism and the forced Christianity.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it anymore. I had to get out. It was too much. I
So
did learn how to
you,
wait tables out there though, making $2.13 an hour. So when I came to the
oh my
West
God.
Coast, there was quite a few jobs I quit. But
Yeah.
if we're not going to treat our customers like family, then bye.
Hey, at
Uh,
Wait.
least you won't have taxes on tips that you can. Oh, that's right. That's not how it works. It's just a deduction on your taxes. Oh,
well, see,
Yeah.
if they did the no tax on tips, people in the South are fucked because
yep.
when you only make $2.13 an hour, all of my
Hmm.
income that was taxed was my tips. So it's like,
Yep.
how
Right.
are they going to make any money? How are they going to get that
Yep.
earned income credit? They
Wait a
And
can't.
minute.
most
You're
people don't.
saying life is more complicated than a simple political soundbite meant to get people to vote against their own interests?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So
So,
God.
speaking of that, how did you start advocating for your interests? How did you call yourself an activist? And I think more people should call them activists because if you're doing something actively to try and fight against a systemic issue, you're an activist. So, how did you find your way towards that?
It was when Roe v. Wade was overturned. So before I got on TikTok, I learned so much about our government on that app. It's
mhm.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
I didn't know what Roe versus Wade was until a week before it was taken away. And when I was in Tennessee, I was with a really mean guy, and he beat me up a few times. I called the cops. One time, the cop fist pumped him and said, "Yeah, you got to keep your lady in line."
What
Long
the?
What?
story short, I got
Oh my
pregnant, and
God.
then he beat me up until I had a miscarriage. And if it
Wow.
wasn't for Roe v. Wade, I wouldn't have been able to get a timely DNC because I was 14 weeks along, and I
Yep.
almost went septic. Now,
Oh my God.
if a woman is in that position today in Tennessee,
Yep.
Hmm.
she'll go to jail before anything, especially if
Yep.
the abuser is like, "Oh, she did this to herself."
And of course,
So,
we believe the abuser over the woman 100% of the time.
Yeah.
on the flip
Obviously.
side, though, I
Donald
have
Trump. Jesus.
exposed that man. His name is Wes Backus. I've made quite a few
Do it.
videos about him on TikTok, on Facebook, and I've saved 3 women from potentially getting in
Good.
serious relationships with him.
Good.
So
Nice.
that's a win.
Well, I would like on women's behalf to give a hearty fuck you to that guy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And here's another thing. So he was very, very homophobic, right?
Well,
He also
naturally.
cheated on me with a guy. So I've
Ha!
come to terms that every man who is homophobic is secretly gay.
I think so.
Thank
Look,
you.
that's
I've
one of
been
the-
saying the same shit.
what I love about that theory is that I don't even think we're at the point where we have to prove it because you can't hate something so much unless you feel shame about
That's
it in some way.
hilarious. I've been
Because-
saying the
Right.
same shit.
Like and then people will use that against like people on the left. Well, you hate Trump this much. Yeah, I hate Trump that much because I'm ashamed he exists and he represents us. But
Mhm.
to your point, I have never met a guy that is that vocally homophobic that you're like, that guy would touch one. He
Dude,
would
I'm
Mhm.
convinced. I'm
He
convinced.
would
Like
do it.
I bet it's funny you say that because I've said this on the show that I truly think that most Trump men are just self-hating closeted gay men who
Oh,
just
They
yeah.
really are.
they watched
Uh,
a movie and they saw a penis in the movie and it made them feel some
And we're
type
like,
of way
you know
in their
what?
pants and they didn't like that.
I like that.
You know what
Well,
I mean?
wait a
So
minute.
instead of just accepting that they were, maybe a little bit gay
We've
or
said
curious
this
at least, they just decided to hate everybody.
a million times. What app crashes every time the Republicans are in?
Grindr.
Grinder. Every time.
They call the RNC the gay Super Bowl, bro.
The CEO of Grindr said that when they go to the DNC or even like CPAC or all that crap, Grindr crashes every time.
That's
That
crazy.
is fucking hilarious.
That is
So
funny.
Oh.
yeah,
All right,
that's 100%.
so let's talk about your experience having special needs kids, because I just wanted to bring up the fact, like, it's funny you say about Roe v. Wade is what got you into all this. Like Jan 6 for me was what got, I probably couldn't even have named the 3 branches of government before I got a crash course and all this. So yeah, it's weird how one moment can really just open your eyes to what's really going on. But
Right,
getting
right.
to like having this a parent in America having a special needs kid in America is extremely difficult because fighting for just basic services is a task that I don't think people really truly understand, especially if you live in some kind of state of poverty, which, let's be honest, I think half of
Yeah,
America per capita make less than 30 grand a year. So most of America is broke. You know what I'm saying? So having kids in America is a task, but then also having kids with special needs just adds an additional layer of
well, I mean,
difficulty and complexity to the whole
it's
thing.
clearly designed that way. Obviously, you can't suppress a population unless you make their life fucking miserable and almost
Mm-hmm.
impossible. Um, and I think
The
we
doggy.
have existed for so long in a system that lacks fundamental empathy because it's based on profit
Mm-hmm.
and exclusion.
Every
That
single
yeah,
child support, the welfare department, and HUD. I talk to all the people that work there. You know, I'm always shooting the shit anywhere I can, and they're all aware. Like my welfare to work worker, they were the ones who told me about an exemption that I could get because everybody is aware that the government is it's the more you make, the more they take.
Mm-hmm.
For
unless
instance,
you're super rich.
right, unless you're super rich. So I'm on HUD, and
Mhm.
the only way that I can survive on HUD is if I'm a waitress where I make tips, or
Mm-hmm.
if I run my own business and I get my gross income, because HUD counts your gross income. They don't count what you actually bring home.
Wait a
And
minute, but that's a
yeah,
fake number.
so right. So in 2016, it was December of 2016, I started working at a restaurant or a pizza place in Brookings, Oregon called Wild River Pizza. Before I started working there, I was getting $670 something in cash aid. My rent was only $52 and, you know, pay bills, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I was only working there part-time and my rent went past $750 and I
Oh
wasn't
my
even
god.
bringing that home. My checks were
That's
so freaking small. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just like, what's the point of working like this if all I'm doing is literally giving all of my money to the
yep.
government? Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to do that. And also this year, HUD didn't even every year they get a income bracket raise for the cost of living. HUD
Mhm.
didn't get that this year.
Of
They didn't
course.
get it at all. And fucking when I first moved into my apartment, I've lived in my apartment for 10 years now. When I first moved here, my baseline rent without HUD was $850. Well, 2 years ago, my rent is now $1,800. I don't
Oh
pay
That's
my god.
$1,800,
offensive.
That's
but it's
insane.
just like, what the fuck? And then my youngest son, he is on SSI, and I don't understand why they haven't raised the limit of you can only have $2,000 of assets in the bank.
Yep.
Otherwise, you get cut off.
Wait,
When the
Yep.
cost of living in
Mm-hmm.
Southern California is way over $2,000, even for a freaking studio apartment. So it's just
Yep.
like it makes no freaking sense, none at all.
That's what people don't understand is once you start like you get benefits, yes, it's great. It helps. It's you're not living large. Like people for some reason think that you just get thousands upon thousands of dollars in
because
food
that's
stamps
the
and
myth they're told to hate people that need help because the system
right.
is designed to fuck them.
But then immediately if you start making any money, your benefits start to decrease and
Yep.
once you hit a certain amount, they just cut you off.
Now,
You're done.
look,
California
You have
is
to
a little bit
reapply.
different. So in Tennessee, you can get cash aid until your kid is 18, but I only got 142 for me and my son. That's what we got. Like no income come out here. And for me and my oldest son, we were able to get like $650 in cash aid, but they have incentives. Like if an adult wants cash aid, unless you have an exempt for yourself or a child, you have to get out and work. Otherwise, they will not give you cash aid. They
Right.
won't give it to you.
and
Like
how do you
at
work when you
all.
have kids and you can't
Well,
afford daycare? Oh,
well, see, that's the cool thing is before I had the rest of my children, I had daycare that was paid through the state.
That's
They
awesome.
have
But you should be.
welfare to work, and they'll pay for your gas mileage. They'll pay for your work clothes. Like there is a lot of programs to help people, do a
Yeah.
little bit better. But, or like, for instance, if I was to go to college, I could go to the welfare to workplace, and they will literally pay for every single one of my books, all my supplies, and then the FAFSA checks that I would get, I could literally just put in my
That's
pocket.
awesome.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah.
there's a lot of ways out here to help people get on their feet. It's
And-
just, are they going to do it?
Pennsylvania's
And-
tough.
and
yeah,
that's
that's a
the
state by
benefit-
state thing too. Yeah.
I was just going to say that's the benefit of living in a blue state. I mean,
Yes.
you said something that everyone says many times a day. I don't want all my money going to the government. And I always like to try to force myself to say it differently, because that's what we're all thinking. Where's our money going? Because we're used to not seeing it come back to us.
Yep.
If the money that we put in went back to us instead of tax breaks for the rich or kickbacks for the people that are running everything, no one would complain about taxes if childcare was free. There was free taxi services for the elderly to get to their appointments. Roads were clean. Mass transit was free. You know what I mean? If everything wasn't for profit and our taxes went to us, which is what they're supposed to do,
Be a magical place.
people's lives would be so much better. Their happiness factor, their wealth would go up, their ability to spend more money because they could do more things. But no. Can't have that.
Right.
No,
No,
it's like they want us to be miserable in this
it's
country.
child
Yes.
support. Child support's a scam too. So I was married when I had my daughter, and in the state of California, I wasn't married to my daughter's dad. So in the state of California, he was not allowed to put his name on my daughter's birth certificate because I was still legally married. Well, for the longest time, that kept child support from going after him. He's a good dad. He shouldn't have to pay child support. Well, they finally said, screw that. We're going to start charging him. So I get $200 in child support a month. They charged him $500 a month. Plus, they court ordered him to pay for our daughter's braces payments that I started. Okay. Now, when we went into court, I went there with my daughter's dad, and I was like, look, he's having financial issues, and can we please make child support payment as low as possible because I'm on HUD, yada, yada, yada. Judge didn't care. He didn't care at all. He was
I
such
never do.
an asshole. And so now it's like, I'm watching my daughter's dad struggle. Like, it's just so ridiculous. He works for Frito-Lay's, and he works 14-hour days. He makes good money, but he rents a house, shit ton of bills, and it's just and my rent went up $150, and my food stamps went down $50. So it's like, where is the child support?
Well, again, it's all linked together. Your rent goes up because landlords, I don't want to say they're allowed to raise things exponentially without reason, but they are. But to some degree, they are subject to the same inflationary issues as the rest of us. Gas goes up, food goes up, they're going to raise their rent. Now, obviously, a lot of them take advantage of it because in this country, you could just own property and make money. And I still don't understand how that's a fucking thing. But again, if all the different individual problems we have were evened out, we got our money back that we paid in, services were available for everyone, things would be so much better. But we've been brainwashed. A lot of us have been brainwashed to think that the tax money you pay going to you is bad because on a Tuesday at 3 p.m. it might go to save some kid's life that you're never going to meet. Or it might help some mom feed her kids that you're never going to meet. But no one can think to themselves, shit, when catastrophe hits me, that safety net will be there for me. And it's that groomed selfishness that Americans have become to think synonymous as patriotism. That's what got us in this mess.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just to go back to like in Pennsylvania, I didn't get child support from my ex. I was getting it for a little bit, but she kept falling behind on it. So instead of her getting, because in Pennsylvania, you fall too far behind, they'll just come pick your ass up and throw you in jail for like 6 months.
Debtor's prison.
Right. So I just got food stamps and Medicaid for my daughter. We got like me, my son, and my daughter were all on Medicaid, so we got like medical assistance, I guess is what you call it. And without it, I don't know if I would have been able to survive, especially with my daughter being deaf, because she got something called a cochlear implant, which is a
Yep.
biomedical device,
Yep.
that costs a lot of money, and out of pocket, we didn't have to pay anything for it, which is the way it
Nor
should
should
be.
you
Like,
have
you
to,
should
yeah.
not have to pay for medical insurance
If a society
and then
can't keep
still
its
pay
people
out of pocket.
alive, what the hell is it doing?
We
Right.
should
But
have. Go ahead, Casey.
my daughter's dad, like I said, he works at Frito Lay's, and he has insurance, but they don't have dental. They don't
Of
have
course not.
dental
Teeth
at
are for the
all.
rich. Teeth are for the
Yeah.
rich.
No, we don't need teeth.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I just got a tooth fix, one of my canines, and it $1,800. Like, that's where
Oh
most of
my
my tax
God.
money went. And it's
Nice.
like, I could go to my Medi-Cal dentist, but all they give you is, like, I need nitrous when they're drilling on my teeth. Okay, I will pay whatever I have to. Like, I can't afford it, but
That's
I ain't
funny.
trying to have no medieval type dentistry at all. I am good on that.
I hate going to the dentist.
Thank you. Oh, I hate going
That's
to the
funny.
dentist too. It's not fun. Not fun
All
at
right,
all.
so let's talk about this administration and their views on both people with disabilities and education itself, because they are attacking both. It's gotten to the point where they are actually suggesting we wear wearables like digital watches and stuff like that, so they can monitor our health in real time. They've suggested that we
what
put
that
all of our
really is
information into an app.
What that is woman number 4279 shows signs of being fertile and pregnant. We got to make sure she doesn't get an abortion. That's
Right.
what that fucking tech
Yeah.
is. Just like you
Yep.
should not. I'm gonna like public service announcement, because every day, on the way to work, I listen to podcasts on Spotify, and one of the ads I hear all the damn time is about some app that tracks women's fertility. Do not download
Yeah.
those apps. Do not do it. We don't live in a country where that's a real smart idea.
No.
Right.
Well, now,
No.
did you guys hear about all the age verification they want to do on the internet?
Ugh.
Like YouTube and stuff, they're suggesting that we actually physically upload our identification, our driver's license,
Suck
state
my
ID.
ass.
That's what I said. I'm like, there's no way. You guys get hacked all the fucking
Well,
time.
I'll tell you
guys
what.
want me to put my goddamn state government issued ID in there? You must be
I'll tell
high.
you what, though, a lot of the armchair assholes suddenly would disappear from the internet if their anonymity was gone.
Yeah, all the bots would hopefully disappear. I don't know how
Well,
bots verify their information, but
So what we wanted to do, and this is something that I think not enough people understand, is how linked care for disabled Americans is linked to education.
mhm.
And if you see what's going on with education in this country and how it's going to basically vanish, how our Department of Ed is dead, well, who cares for the disabled people that mostly students, children, young adults that rely on those services? The fact that they are linked is another example of why do we have these weird linkages? Why is our health insurance linked to our job? Why is care for disability and autism linked to the Department of Education? Is it the Department of Ed's job to do that, or should it be part of a robust healthcare system?
Yeah.
I mean, call me
Once they
crazy and
start-
socialist.
Once they start cutting education funding, the first thing that is going to go is disability services. Guaranteed.
So let's take a little bit of look. As usual, for everyone watching, I like to do my research and read through some stuff. So, Casey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a couple of different topics. We'll take breaks here and here to talk about them. I want your opinion on some of these things, mostly headlines, some information from some websites to show how this current administration is doing its best to make lives for people with disabilities unlivable. I think that's not a hyperbolic statement. So
No, that's 100% facts.
Yeah.
here's an exclusive from Reuters. Trump administration defunds autism research in DEI and, quote, gender ideology purge. A little summary is the NIH. I'll explain what that is. Autism research funding is down 31 million so far in 2025. This is from the administration whose idiot with a gravelly voice said he was going to cure autism like on Tuesday. Researchers fear cuts will delay autism treatment progress, and the Health and Human Services Department denies reduced commitment to autism research, even though they just cut 31 million. You know, you can say whatever the hell you want nowadays. All right. Here is the National Institute of Health. In some cases, the NIH has canceled projects because they involve diverse populations. See how insidious the anti-DEI stuff is? Studied differences in gender or took place at research universities currently under scrutiny by the Trump administration. For others, funding for autism projects has simply halted, or money for new projects has not been approved. Among the eliminated or defunded annual grant programs identified by Reuters, a $509,000 grant. That's it, $509,000. But yet he can get a new $9 billion plane, by the way. A $509,000 grant studying the genetic factors that impact mental health and gender diversity in 10,000 autistic and non-autistic people. A $211,000 grant to develop interventions to improve the mental health of autistic adults, and a $548,000 grant exploring the autism risk among children of women exposed to childhood abuse. That's fascinating. So it keeps going. Among the autism-related grants reviewed by Reuters, 5 totaling more than $10 million were listed as terminated by the Department Authority of the NIH's website. The grants, which describe research into sexual and gender minority autistic adults, auditory hearing, and genetic risk among people with autism, were all canceled within 2 weeks of each other in March. So they're clearly cutting autism research because they say the control and study groups that you would normally have diverse populations are diverse. That's diversity and equity. That's bad because browns and people and it's not white guys. Casey, what do you think about that? I mean, it's right there in the numbers.
It's fucked. It's 110% fucked. I'm lucky to be in the county where I am because we have the Redwood Regional Center, and it is a program that helps adults and children on the spectrum. And I'm literally doing their recertification on the 19th of this month. And I'm going to be asking my kids' caseworker about this and how it's going to affect them. Because, for instance, my kids haven't had a specialist to come in to our house since November of 2023. And we've still been waiting for a new specialist that way, so I'm always trying to learn new skills to help my children. And it's just like, it's 2025 and no specialist, no nothing. They don't contact me or anything. This county is in pretty much probationary period after a lawsuit that was settled.
Yeah.
So there was 6 kids in this lawsuit. My youngest son was included in it. And it's because there was not enough staff to help with the special needs children. There wasn't enough people on hand, and the hiring process was just horrible and jacked up. I went to one of the board meetings, and it was perfect day to do the board meeting because the topic was special needs children, and the room was packed with teachers and parents and students, and everybody was speaking out, and it was beautiful. So it's, even though there's a lot of horrible things happening in our country to kids and adults on the spectrum, communities do stick together, and that's one good thing. And I've even talked to my, some of the people at school board, some of the people at my kids' schools, and they've all said, regardless of whatever happens to our funding, our community is going to continue to be here for our special needs children.
Yep. What I like about that is that parallels what we've been seeing since the election, is that the local community governments, especially school boards, there was such a horrible trend towards Trump and MAGA and fascism. And since the election, MAGA is losing, people, groups like Moms for Liberty, they're losing these elections because they're, I'm going to say, anti-empathy views are starting to piss off communities. At some point, those of us in communities that want peace, want a good future for everyone's children, for our whole country, are going to start getting pissed at these monsters who are trying to nitpick what they think is acceptable, what they want to put their money into, what they think your kids should learn. But you know what? When you start picking on the disabled, people with learning disabilities, elderly, veterans, when you start picking on these groups that are there that we are supposed to support them, they're going to lose it. And if the Republicans lose their base the way that they are losing it, especially for the reasons they're losing it, they might never recover. Now, I don't know if it's too late, because who knows if we'll ever have elections again, but the Republican Party does not have the support that it thinks it did, at least not that it had a few months ago. And it's because of their cruelty, it's because of their inhumanity, and it's because of their attacks on the most vulnerable people in this country.
Right. It's so ridiculous. Our veterans, our elderly, our disabled. It's, hold on, I'm going to roll up the side window.
I have to ask a weird question. Do you have a dog in that car by any chance?
Yeah.
I knew it. I freaking knew it. Yes.
I knew it. She's my emotional support animal.
Hell yeah, we love Patriot pups.
I got my cat in my room with me.
We love all patriotic.
I try to get her up here, but she doesn't like being held. So yeah.
So we also have what I'm calling a strict war on disability, because it doesn't just go from people with autism or learning disabilities or other stuff. They're strictly going to go the Nazi route here. The Trump administration's war on disability, executive actions, budget cuts, layoffs, and legislation, all enacted in the Trump administration's first 6 months, have curtailed disability rights and services, including access to Medicaid and the right to free, appropriate public education. This is a little long, but I'm going to get through it. History will show the first 6 months of the second Trump administration as an all-out war against disabled people, from executive orders intended to roll back civil rights protections to legislation that cuts key services and support. The disability community has faced structural violence in the form of federal policy. That is a hell of a sentence. This all comes as the community continues to suffer severe impacts from the COVID-19 pandemic, which technically is still going on, that have resulted in further disablement, isolation, and death. It has even been alleged that President Donald Trump once told his nephew, Fred C. Trump III, that he should let his son, who has complex intellectual and developmental disabilities, just die because of the cost of care, because capitalists are inhuman fucking scum. This is some of the things that they've been doing since his second term began. That's not that long. Removing the federal government's ability to enforce disability civil rights laws, meaning, we don't have to put up ramps for people. We don't need any accessibility. Undermining healthcare affordability and access for disabled people. Fuck it, you're poor and disabled, go die somewhere. Destroying public health infrastructure that protects and supports the health and well-being of disabled people. Stripping the ability of disabled children to receive free, appropriate public education. Why waste it on them, right? That's what they would say. I don't know. Stephen Hawking might have something to say about that. Slashing services, benefits, and regulations that help keep disabled people in their communities. Oh, wow. So where are they supposed to go? Evil institutions that rich people can just treat them like shit from? And decreasing disability protections in employment, which means go support yourself, but we're not going to make sure that you can get a job.
Yeah, I remember what it was like just getting an interpreter for my daughter, a sign language interpreter. That's it. Like, that was all we wanted for our daughter.
The bare minimum.
And we could barely get that. Like, it had gotten so bad that I ended up making the decision after I got full custody of my kids, is I sent my daughter to a school, state-funded school for the deaf. It's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which sucked because she had to travel back and forth, but the state paid for the travel. And then, of course, it was a state-funded school. There was no out-of-pocket, and she got the top-notch education. But under the Trump administration, that school may not exist anymore. There may not be a place for children that are deaf to go get a proper education. You know what I mean? Because I could barely get basic services through public education that I had to send her to like a state-funded private school. Luckily, everything worked out. But I just, like, a little backstory, because Casey, we talk a lot about the Nazi parallels in our show. My grandmother, my mom was born in Nazi Germany. I've told this story a couple times. She was adopted by my grandmother, who was forced sterilized by the Nazis because she was disabled, and all it was is she had a bad leg. But the Nazis did
That's
not
true.
want disabled people reproducing because they somehow felt they were defective and that their offspring would be defective. So as a result, they would just make it so they can't have children. Like that's what the Nazis did. And
That's what current
unfortunately,
Nazis are doing.
it sounds extreme,
I
but if we
watched a
continue on this
documentary on this.
path,
Yep. Look,
There were so many disabled children murdered at that time as well.
oh yeah,
Yep.
yep.
I always recommend it, but like not really because I couldn't read all of it. It's the most depressing thing I have ever had my eyes absorb. It's called The Nazi Doctors, and it details everything they
I don't
did.
know if
And I'm gonna make you take that home the next time you're here. The very first thing they did is sterilized disabled people with developmental issues, and then they were like, wait, fuck it, let's just kill them. That is the first thing they did.
yeah.
That's it. End of story. It's history. We know what happened.
But
Yeah, no,
education is going to suffer as well too. I think you have some information on
Oh yeah,
special
well,
education in America.
I do, but first we get to cover all of our favorite guy with a worm in his brain.
Oh,
Because-
RFK Jr.
Because
Jesus
we kind of
Christ,
can't
this guy.
forget that guy is in charge of this country's health. The guy
We're
that
cooked.
there's
Fucking
pictures of
crazy.
him eating dogs,
We're
and he had a
cooked.
whale head on his car or something like that.
Probably drinks raw milk.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
Him and that other asshole drank raw
Oh,
milk
they
in the
did!
Oval Office.
They
Like
did.
they actually,
I
like, cheersed
forgot
it with raw
about that.
milk in the Oval Office.
That's
All right,
funny.
let me get to this asshole. All right.
Oh my God, that's
I hate
hilarious.
this guy. All right. RFK Jr. pledges to find the cause of autism by September. So he's got a month. He's got a month. I think he'll do it. I think he'll
found
do
it.
it. And yes, when I made this panel, I actually counted. He has 26 days as of tonight to cure autism. So, U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy
Jesus
Jr. has
Christ.
pledged, quote, a massive testing and research effort to determine the cause of autism in 5 months. Experts caution that finding the causes of autism spectrum disorder, a complex syndrome that has been studied for decades, will not be straightforward and call the effort misguided and unrealistic. Now, the fact that we have doctors and scientists, they don't get to say this guy's a fucking clown. They have to say it with their educated words, but this
Right.
guy's a fucking clown, okay? Where's the research? Because it's been 5 months. He's got 26 days. I haven't heard a goddamn thing about it. Kennedy, who has promoted debunked theories suggesting autism is linked to vaccines, which is fucking not true,
Been
said during a
debunked.
cabinet meeting on Thursday that a U.S. research effort will involve hundreds of scientists from around the world, even though we've alienated the whole goddamn planet against us. By September, we will know what has caused the autism epidemic, and we will be able to eliminate those exposures. Yeah, he almost probably slipped up what he said he wanted to eliminate. Kennedy did not give details on the research project or how much
course.
funding will be devoted to the autism research. By the way, I'm going to pause. That bill, the big beautiful one, I didn't see anything about autism research, so clearly that's a lie.
They cut funding for research.
There you go. Since being sworn in 2 months ago, the former environmental lawyer has slashed the budget for the Department of Health and Human Services, which includes the NIH, CDC, and other government health organizations that oversee food and drug safety and conduct disease research. Quote, we're going to look at vaccines, but we're going to look at everything. Kennedy later said during an interview with Fox News about the scope of the undertaking. Quote, everything is on the table. Our food system, our water, our air, different ways of parenting. What the fuck?
What?
All the kind of changes that we may have triggered this epidemic. In a statement,
that?
the Autism Society of America called Kennedy's plan harmful, misleading, and unrealistic. Yep, you fucking tripped on the one.
How does
Different
parenting...
ways of parenting. Well, I can see what they're going to do. If you raise your kid to be gay, that'll make him autistic.
Right? Like, what is he talking
Christopher
about, man?
Banks, the society's president, the National Autism Society, questioned whether the research efforts would be transparent. and said claims that autism is solely caused by environmental factors were misleading theories which perpetuate harmful stigma, jeopardize public health, and distract from the critical needs of the autism community. So what do you think about that before we get into special education?
So I used to be a conspiracy theorist, and I was very hesitant of vaccines. So my oldest son, I did the vaccines by the book. My daughter, she got really, really sick one time, and she had inactive whooping cough for a year.
Oof.
Damn.
And so since then, I only do the required ones for school, but I did not vaccinate my 2 children on the spectrum because I was scared that vaccines caused autism. So tell me, I didn't start vaccinating them until after they were like 5 or 6. And we do one every 3 months so they don't get sick. But like my kids are literally proof that vaccines don't cause autism. Like it's
like, it's one thing to be wary when the COVID vaccine came out because of how quick it was developed. Now, that wariness is not a distrust of the scientific method and the experts that are researching it. It's a concern of how unusually quick it was rolled out. But when you start, I'm sure, as you've done, start doing your research and start looking at things, you start to see where those conspiracies come from. And generally it comes from a fear that blocks people from being able to just look at things for themselves. Well, and the more you ask questions, it's, hey, stop asking questions.
Also,
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So kids are generally supposed to start talking around like age 2, 1.5. And that's also when kids are due for a shit ton of shots. So I think that's a thing that people put 2 and 2 together. Oh, my child's 2 and they just got shots, and so that's why they're not talking.
Yep.
It's just like I have my youngest son, Forrest, and he is considered nonverbal. He can talk now, but he's still, his cognitive function, he's going to be 9 soon, and he still loves to play with toddler toys. Now, my son, River, he is also on the spectrum, but literally the polar opposite. He never stops talking. He's the most empathetic, brilliant kid. You can ask this boy anything about space and he can tell you. I honestly think one of the reasons that our government is buckling or trying to buckle down on autism is because these people are brilliant. If we had they're so brilliant. I feel like, I don't know if it's factual, but it's like, we can only use 10% of our brain at one time. People on the spectrum, they can use more, it seems.
So it's funny. I've read and watched a bunch of things about that, and I don't know what percentages of that are true or not. But what I have seen a lot of people, a lot of experts and other people say, is what we used to think of autism is a slowing down of mental capacity is actually, and now I am not an expert and I'm oversimplifying it, but for sake of argument, I'll continue. It seems to be more of a communication issue and a social interpretation issue. The intelligence is not only not stunted, but very often heightened and increased.
Typically,
both of my boys can read better than me. I'm dyslexic, so I cannot, my brain cannot sound out words at all. I have to memorize things. And when I'm writing or something and I don't know how to spell a word, I'll be like, hey, Forrest, how do you spell this? And he just, when he was in preschool, his teacher was asking me if I was teaching him Spanish because he was going to school and saying a whole bunch of Spanish stuff. I thought she was teaching him Spanish. What this little boy did is he changed the settings on his tablet at school and the tablet at home, and he was teaching himself Spanish. And this was still when he wasn't even at this time, he only said, I love you to me. And he was like 3 or 4. And it's crazy how brilliant, and his hyper focus, it's just like, I wish that I could hyper focus the way that my kids do, because like
I hyper unfocus,
but it has to be It has to be something I'm interested in. Like I have ADHD like crazy, and I can really hyper focus, honestly, especially when I've had a few gummies in me. I get really focused. But yeah, But yeah, at the same time, I can walk into a room and then forget why I walked into the room. Yeah, I mean, so it's
Yeah.
like my brain is all over the place.
Well,
I find it amazing, and I'm going to bring it back to what I consider the right's biggest flaw is their just fundamental lack of empathy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care about anyone but themselves, and very often they don't even seem to care about themselves because every decision they make harms them primarily. It's the same thing with food stamps, with government assistance. It's
Mm-hmm.
poor white people that tend to get the most assistance, tend to get the most harmed by the reduction of that assistance. And yet they're like, if I could just make sure that that person, white, brown, whatever, is more miserable than me, I'm fucking better than them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it comes down to. It's like pissing on each other's lawn. Your lawn's better than my lawn. Fuck you. Like, what are we comparing? Misery, nothing, nonsense?
So on what was the last? Was it Memorial Day or President's Day? I think it was Memorial Day. We had the No Kings protest that was everywhere.
Yeah, yeah.
So I went to the one in my town. I was so amazed,
right?
Because like the man who runs it is a 70-year-old man, and half of the people out there were elderly. It was so beautiful.
That's what we saw. That's what we're seeing.
Leaving though, there was this Trump supporter, a guy probably in his 70s. During the whole protest, he was driving up 101, just pissed off. He pulls into the fairgrounds as everybody's trying to leave. He almost rams into this elderly woman's car, and I intervene. I walk up to him. It's actually on TikTok. I have the video because I was live on TikTok. But I walked up to him and I said, "Did you come here just to create chaos?" And he said, "Yeah, I came here to cause trouble. You Democrats." And I said, "I'm not a Democrat." And he said, well, what are you? I said, "I'm a human who cares about other humans." And he said, "Well, I'm a better human than you." And I'm just like,
amazing.
What?
So he went,
yeah.
Man.
That's
what he did.
I'll go to a protest in my hometown, and it's literally, you'll see the same assholes. It's usually a bunch of dudes in a big old pickup truck. Usually a diesel where I'm from, and they'll drive by and just belt out a big plume of that black smoke. And they'll do it repeatedly, like they're just somehow intimidating us, and we're literally laughing at them as they go by.
They have to explain to you how large their genitalia is.
Oh, yeah. They're really showing us.
Let you know
they're compensating a lot, man.
Tire size and exhaust size. They need to let you know. All right, so this is the last bit of information. I know if we don't get to it, I know you have some videos. Let's see where the end of the show
I just want to play the one of Donald Trump wandering around the roof.
Motherfuck. Okay. We also have a request of a topic to talk about that I'm going to bring it up at the end that was posted in the chat. But all right, so the last bit of info I have is on special education and how it is the key to all of this. Special education and Trump. What parents and schools need to know. The administration laid off nearly half the education department staff and slashed its civil rights enforcement arm. And Trump says he wants to move special education programs to the Department of Health and Human Services, an agency that announced its own round of mass layoffs in March and is run by a lunatic with a dead worm in his brain that basically just told you he's going to tell you how to parent to prevent autism.
Yeah.
Anyway. The nation's teachers union, along with the NAACP, 2 Massachusetts public school districts, and others have sued, challenging the many changes. They argue that the diminished education department will no longer be able to fulfill its duties, which, by law, include ensuring that the 7.5 million students with disabilities receive the services that the law says they should receive. That's a key point. Because when they dismantle the Department of Education, and by law it is obligated to do things, we'll see what the Supreme Court does. The Trump administration's actions threaten to return education to an era where federal government was nearly absent, and the states were left to their own devices to do whatever they want for these vulnerable student populations, said Robert Kim, executive director of the Education Law Center. I mean, that's what they want. That is what they want. They want to leave it up to states to fuck people. And I don't mean in any pleasant way. They want to ruin people's lives because it'll make them feel better and they'll make more money. So the American Association of People with Disabilities put out a post that shows how things are going, and it's not good. How does the Educational Executive Order impact people with disabilities? What is actually happening? President Trump issued an executive order entitled Improving Education by Empowering Parents, States, and Communities. Fuck off. The executive order directs the Department of Education to, and I quote, take all necessary steps to facilitate the closure of the Department of Education and return authority over education to the states and local communities while ensuring the effective and uninterrupted delivery of services, programs, and benefits of in which many Americans rely. That's a lie. That's physically impossible if you're gutting rid of the thing that does it. What is an executive order? We don't need to go over that. But needless to say, it's an order that, unless challenged, can go through, but it looks like enough people are challenging it that a lot of these executive orders are not going through.
No.
Does the executive order impact Section 504 of IDEA? The executive order does not eliminate Section 504 or IDEA, which both protect the rights of students with disabilities. However, the executive order and staff reductions will severely diminish the ability of the department to support students with disabilities and their families. Has President Trump done anything on education prior to this? Weeks before this executive order, Trump had taken steps to dismantle the department, including firing approximately 50% of employees, including in offices handling student financial aid and civil rights enforcement. How does dismantling the Department of Education impact students with disabilities? The Department of Ed has a key role in supporting the 7.5 million students with disabilities. Moving the management of key programs to a different agency would drastically impact disabled students. No other agency has the knowledge and expertise necessary to oversee special education and to protect students' rights. Disrupting the department will also affect financial aid and student loans. So in other words, the department that's been doing it for the long time to make sure that states don't just act like assholes knows how to do their job. And now no one's going to be doing that job.
Nope.
Because for some reason, students with disabilities can just go fuck themselves, I guess, if you're Donald Trump.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what they want. But that's all on Project 2025, like we said.
It's all part of it. They want oh God, I can't believe I'm going to say these words, even though it's being sarcastic, but not. They want a white, genetic, pristine population with blue eyes, blonde hair, and that's it. They don't want any diversity. They want a bunch of little clones and submissive population.
Yeah, that's like an American Eagle ad.
Yep.
Did you see Donald Trump's creepy post about what's her face? Oh my God, it's so weird. All right, let me play a couple of videos. Just two. One, I want to play because it's absolutely insane. Like, we've shown videos of Marjorie Taylor Greene holding hearings on black market baby organ sales. I shit you not, Casey. She actually did it. But here is RFK
My favorite
Jr.
Wait, it was held in a hotel like
it was like in like a Days Inn or something. It was so funny. All right, so this is RFK Jr. talking about that there's an organ harvesting thing happening in America where they're harvesting organs from people that are still alive. I've never heard a single story about this, but apparently RFK Jr. just knows more than all of us.
This shit happens like in third world countries and places where body harvesting generally happens.
Like, it's not a movie. You're not waking up in a tub of ice with your kidney missing. Like,
there's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie where that happens. It's not a good movie, but I do love Jean-Claude Van Damme.
All right, let me play. I just want to show you guys how insane this guy is. This is the guy who's running the Department of Health and Human Services.
I heard that from a congressional hearing last week. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, it's
what
a horror
the hell's
story,
the audio?
And part of it is because of the capture of the
I don't know why the audio is so off on these.
regulating ORR. The board that was actually regulating organ harvesting was overlapping with the contractor.
A board that was
actually
organ
harvesting the organs. And it was done state by state. Some of the states were just truly, it was a nightmare. And it was sickening to read these stories. I had one instance where a family was waiting at the hospital for the body of their deceased relative. The relative was brought to one of these private organ harvesting centers.
Private organ harvesting
centers. They
center.
don't exist, you clown. Ugh.
Anyway, yeah, he's a complete psychopath.
He needs to go to a nursing home.
Yeah,
Please.
this is the guy that said COVID and vaccines, or no, not what was it? Diseases can be designed to attack specific people.
Yeah,
No, you
They think that.
dumbass.
They actually think that. And he'll, the guy he's talking about, we want to take sugar out of your diet. We don't want, but he'll have like a Zen in his, you know what I mean? He'll have a freaking nicotine pouch in his gums while he's trying to tell
Have
us
you
that we
seen
need to
that
be
picture
healthier.
of him, Casey?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
a
it's
picture with a
insane.
nicotine pouch in his gums. Now look, I'm not.
Oh, yeah.
You want to use dip? I don't care what you do, but don't use dip and then tell me you're going to make people healthy by getting rid of vaccines for measles and
Right.
for drinking raw milk. Like, come on, guy.
Right.
Right. Like, whatever happened to freedom of choice? Like,
Can't have it.
Like,
No.
one downfall of California, not Gavin Newsom didn't put this in place, but it was the governor before him. They used to have a religious exemption for people that didn't want to vaccinate their kids.
Yeah.
And now that doesn't even apply. Like, they don't have religious exemption in California anymore.
Really?
So there's a lot of parents. Oops, sorry, Lucy. There's a lot of parents that put their kids in homeschool, or there's another school called Uncharted Shores, and it's not part of the school district. So there's like red tape you can go, but it's like they literally just have one first grade class, one second grade class. It goes all the way up to like 8th grade, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
God, it's just this world is just too freaking.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Brina has a good point. The RFK Jr. took his grandkids to swim in raw sewage.
Right.
Oh yeah, like come on. All right. So I think the last video we have is one of my favorite moments from what I'm calling the Donald Trump tragedy. We've had 10 years of this fucking hell.
Jesus.
And when I tell you this video, Casey, I don't know if you've seen it yet. I don't know. It came out today. I didn't see it till like 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
If Biden had done what you're about to see, Democrats would have impeached him.
Bro, the security risks alone of this guy walking on the goddamn roof of the White House is insane. But watch this moron.
Mr. President, what are you doing up there?
Come down and talk to us.
What are you building?
Are you considering more renovations, sir?
Are you going to build
The way people laugh at him for no reason is despicable. What is that he's doing?
Listen to
The
this
guy's
one.
walking around on the fucking roof.
He said he's going to build nuclear missiles on top of the White House. I shit you not. He just said to reporters, nuclear missiles.
You know,
what are you building? Nuclear missiles.
What just came to mind is something that blew my brains out when I first learned this. Jimmy Carter put solar panels on the roof of the White House.
That's so funny.
This was in the late 70s. He actually put solar panels on the roof of the White House. When Ronald Reagan, that piece of garbage, came in, he ripped them off because, and I quote, they looked ugly.
Yep.
Oh my God.
And that's all you need to know about how we are where we are due to Reaganomics.
Oh, it's just like they took up the rose bushes.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You've
That looks
seen the
terrible.
picture, right then? Of
It looks terrible.
So I didn't see this. Someone pointed this out, that the drainage on there are all in the shapes of the flag. Like, is there a better metaphor for this?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the gutters.
Like, come on.
I didn't even pay attention to that. I need to go back and look at that picture.
The stupid ballroom. The ballroom is going to be bigger than the White House. Like, this is
the ballroom
insane.
is supposed to be 90,000 feet. The White House is 55,000 feet.
Oh, and don't forget, next 4th of July, I believe, we're having a UFC fight on the White House lawn. So that's not going to... That's not going to make us look like a giant
You know what's
trailer
really
park.
funny, though?
Idiocracy is upon us.
Thank you.
If we make it to that fight, the evangelicals are going to break with him because the evangelicals hate the UFC. They hate MMA.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's one of my favorite movies, by the way. I love it.
when I found out when Trump was running for president the first time, I literally thought it was a joke because, like,
I did too.
the only recollection I have of him as a kid and as a teenager is him in that show he used to be on. You're fired, and I'm just
The
like,
Apprentice.
why the fuck?
Well,
Why
it's
would-
funny you say that. There's been a lot of people that have talked about how that show was in many ways how they turned him into what people think he is. Because I'll tell you something, growing up in New York, there's one thing that was drilled into my head my whole life. Donald Trump is a lying, grifting piece of shit. All right. Everyone in New York knew that. It was like just instinctual. Okay. Like, that's it. So when he became this, when he showed up and everyone's like, he's so popular, people are like, people in New York were like, what? How is this even happening? It's because The Apprentice. People to this day still don't understand reality TV is scripted shows with non-actors. That's it.
Right.
That's it. I'm not saying they say every word, but everything is planned and strategically done to get a reaction and an
Shit, my sister was on Jerry Springer. That shit was all planned.
That's amazing.
That shit was all fucking planned. It's all fucking planned.
But no, instead, people are like, he's a good businessman because he said fired.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
He was a
And now he
failing
fired
businessman
all the
until
important
Apprentice
people
came
in our
out.
government.
He did. He did his job. That's what he was hired to
So,
do.
if you guys like petty comebacks on social media, so we all know how Trump was the one who started all the political social media stuff. Fucking insane.
Yep.
So, if you get on TikTok, Governor Newsom of California, he has his own personal TikTok account, and he has one as the governor. Trump probably regrets ever going to social media because Gavin Newsom claps back so fucking hard and funny and petty.
That's
It's
like when
fucking
AOC does it or
fantastic.
Jasmine Crockett does it. Like, you know, you bring up a great point because I've always like looked at it like this 80-year-old lunatic who doesn't even know how to turn on his phone has been governing via tweet for both of his terms. And like, the guys, if anyone else tweeted the amount he did, the times he did, and what he did,
they'd have been a padded room.
Like, this is someone who needs to be locked up and put in a straitjacket. But no, because Donald Trump does it, everyone's like, that's because he's with the people. He's talking to the people.
Dude, this psycho ends all of his posts with "Thank you for your attention to this matter." Like, he's seriously running the world. He thinks anyway. From Truth
he does
Social.
think it. Well, how many times has he said, "Mr. Putin, do this"? Yeah, because Putin is like just doom scrolling and going, "Oh, Trump tweeted,
That's what all the world leaders are doing. Trump, they're sitting on Truth fucking Social, waiting for your dumbass to make a post. Like, you're right, Casey. Idiocracy is real, and we are living through it right now.
So go ahead.
Do you guys know why our government started hating on TikTok?
No.
Do you know? Okay, so back in 2020 or 2019, whenever the fuck they were doing the re-elections, about to get a new president, whatever, you were able to reserve seats at a rally on TikTok. Okay, California, they pranked Trump. They pranked his ass. He thought his rallies were fully reserved, and it was like at 25% capacity. So California did it,
so good.
and then 2 other states did it, and then that's why our government started looking into TikTok, because Trump was pissed off. And then before the election last year, I have a video of him saying, "I'm gonna save TikTok," and then. Oh God. And then there's another video like 2 months after that where he's like, "Yeah, no, TikTok's not good. Da, 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 da." And I'm just like, he literally just fucking tells people whatever they want to hear. Like,
well, he's a snake oil salesman. He's a bad one, but he's a grifter.
Right.
He just says what he needs to get people in the tent, buy the ticket, watch the clowns dance. That's it. That's all he is.
That's all he cares about.
So the one thing I did want to mention, I'm trying to remember who asked about it, but they wanted to know, this is totally off topic, something we've never covered. Apparently Hollywood is making a movie about Dwight D. Eisenhower. And the comment was, of all the presidents, no one ever really talks about him. There's not much that I think a lot of people know that is negative about him. And his fear was that he looks at Dwight Eisenhower as a decent president, someone we should learn about. He's worried what Hollywood will do now that it's more, quote, fashionable to just hate on white guys. So it's an interesting concept. Are we going to get stuff that is true that people are going to say are attacks just because he's white? Are we going to see people being afraid about revisionist history? And I think it brings up a bigger point of one of the fears the right has is that it's not okay to be white anymore. And I think what they don't understand, because they're racist, is that it's not okay to be white. It's not okay for white people to keep saying it's better to be white. So right. I look at it this way: if this documentary or movie or whatever it is brings up things that are valid, that are negative, we have to own them. If they bring up things that are valid, that are good, let him have that. We don't. What the right doesn't understand is we're not just hating on people because it's fashionable, because we gaslight ourselves or anything else. We hate on people because of their actions and history. Mm-hmm. So I say anything's possible, especially when it comes to movies and how people view them. But I think I don't know anything about Dwight Eisenhower. So you know what? I'll give it a watch. And then what the right doesn't do is when they watch something, they don't go then do their own research. So I'm going to watch it. And then I'm going to go look up and see what the hell's actually true or not. And I think that's where, when this person asked that question, that's where my mind went, is it's not about what Hollywood will do. It's about what people will do with personal responsibility and doing research on their own. And that's how we got to where we are in the first place.
People never do research on their own. Like my whole TikTok account is proof of that. Like people get on there, and that's one thing that drives me crazy is like we have the most abilities to be connected than we ever have in our whole existence, and people are so fucking divided and stupid.
I've said the same thing.
Casey, that's this hilarious. One's directed at you. Someone came in late to the show. They're on all the time with us. So if you want to plug yourself and talk about that to let everyone know where they could find you and follow you.
Oh yeah, I am. I'm on TikTok mostly. I have my main TikTok account is Witchy8Names, and I'm a human rights and mental health activist. I run my own cleaning business. I have special needs children, and I love pissing off men with fragile masculinity.
Did you rehearse that? Because that was like verbatim. That was good.
I totally forgot. That. Actually, I put her TikTok is in the comments of this, or in the description of this video. So if you'd like to follow Casey on TikTok, you can hop right over there and give her a follow, and watch some of her videos. And unfortunately, though, that is all the time we have for today. Casey, it was really, really nice having you on. I'm so glad I reached out to you.
You are welcome back anytime. Your time.
Yeah, you're welcome on the show anytime. I'll reach out to you after the show and shoot you a text.
If you want to come on one of our episodes where we just do topics, like we're always looking for more people. We want to grow. I'm going to go through my little spiel. It'll be very brief. Our purpose here, and I'm talking to you now, is to build a community and let people know that people of all different walks of life are fighting together against fascism. Mm-hmm. We don't have to agree on everything. The only thing we have to agree on is that fascism is shit and Donald Trump is a big dummy head. That's it.
Yes.
That should be pretty easy, right?
Damn right.
We'd love to have you back.
All right. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you guys would like to follow us on social media, the link tree for that is also in the description of the video. It's also on our channel pages, as well as our GoFundMe's. We still are trying to raise money to take this to the next level. As you can see, we've been doing some upgrading. We've been doing some on-location stuff, but we still have a lot more plans, and we need your help to do it. So our GoFundMe is also in there as well. You guys have been great supporters from the beginning, and you guys have kept us going through a lot of tough times. But through the process, we've been able to meet a lot of amazing people like Casey here. We're not going to stop anytime soon. So everybody have a good rest of your night. I will be back on Friday, Wednesday, Thursday. I need my days off. So I'll be back on Friday doing a live news recap. If you guys want to join me there, it'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Other than that, have a great rest of your night. Love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.